Maitland, Minmi, Paxton, Swansea, Terralba, Corindi, Werris-Creek, Labba, Grafton, Sawtell, Bundina, Camden, Picton, Richmond, Warragamba, Windsor, Blackheath, Glenbrook, Lawson, Mount Victoria, Wentworth Falls, Budgewoi, Wyong, Helensburgh, Scarborough, Berrigan, Finley, Nowra, Lithgow, Portland. Do you live in one of these towns? Well, I've got some good news and bad news for you. You want the good news first? You're at no risk from the woke SS coming in, knocking on your door and confiscating your DVD box set of Hogan's Heroes because it's been cancelled for not being politically correct enough and triggering too many art students. But the bad news is, although Hogan's Heroes isn't cancelled in your town, your local fire station probably will be. Why? Because some fucking inner city soy boy, wait, sorry, is that not gender neutral enough for you? Some woke inner city soy person called David Elliot got triggered by the fact that fire stations cost money to run. I mean, the bloke's already cancelled the trains, now he's cancelling fire stations. What's next? I don't think you can trust this bloke with your Hogan's Heroes box set, frankly, and you can't! He's cancelled Hogan's Heroes too!
Yeah, mate, but there's one thing I'm never cancelling. My holiday.
In 2019, when David Elliot was Emergency Services Minister and something else big in the realm of emergencies happening that year, I can't really remember what it was. But yeah, that year, after years of staffing budget cuts, New South Wales Fire Rescue attempted to implement an order that would see fire stations shut down temporarily when there aren't enough people to staff them. Considering since 2019 a lot of those places have faced the worst natural disasters of our lifetime, this plan you can plainly categorise as cancel culture. Gone too far. In December last year, after his great success in police and emergency services, David got a taste of cancel culture himself, lost those ministries, and was given transport. But the plan to close fire stations lives on thanks to new Emergency Services Minister Steph Cook. And just because he's much funnier than Steph Cook, and he was the responsible minister up until like 6 months ago, we're going to be referring to Elliot mostly, because Elliot's legacy leaves us in a situation where some of the most natural disaster prone areas in the country will be without emergency services for large periods of time because we can't afford to keep them open. Well, apparently New South Wales can't afford to pay firefighters, as Mark Buttigieg pointed out, sometimes as little as $14,000 a year to keep these stations staffed, but we can afford millions upon millions for the pay of a few emergency services executives. Do you remember that brief period during the Black Summer bushfires where this guy was more famous than Australia's most famous man? Phil Rudd. Well, the New South Wales government found a way to cash in on goodwill Shane Fitzsimmons accrued merely from the fact that he didn't go to the Bahamas during the fires. They created the shiny new agency, Resilience New South Wales. Great name. Word you'd see in a 90s-era high school mural imploring you not to do drugs. With great fanfare, they appointed Shane Fitzsimmons to head it. And what has this new agency achieved when compared to the old Office of Emergency Management that it replaced? A blowout in executive pay. In the last year of its operation, the 129 staff at the Office of Emergency Management cost the taxpayer $7.4 million, whereas the 105 staff at Resilience New South Wales cost the taxpayer $19.2 million in the 2020 to 2021 financial year, with Labor saying this is because it has a disproportionately large executive. Whoa, so epic. Less results, more bureaucrats making bank. It's true. Look at how they managed the floods earlier this year. Accused by local politicians of being missing in action, not making their presence known, having the need for their existence questioned, then countering that criticism with, what, it's not a 24-hour operation? They failed to staff an evacuation centre outside of office hours, despite the hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars allocated to it, and as soon as it hit 5 p.m, they just clocked off. Yeah, because everyone knows it stops raining after 5 and before 9. It's all just marketing to the New South Wales government. You know that Resilience New South Wales was meant to have almost $1 billion worth of grants to hand out in the 20 to 21 financial year, and they left $400 million unspent. In fact, less than $6 million went to building projects that built resilience to natural disasters. But apparently New South Wales just does not have enough money to keep 30 fire stations open in fire-prone areas. I swear if you got David Elliot and Steph Cook to open a restaurant, they'd spend all the money on a giant flat-screen TV, 15 chicken mascot costumes, and forget to buy a fridge and an oven. Insist you still eat the chicken though?
F*** off, it's perfectly good. I like my chicken rare and fermented anyway. Reminds me of my humanity.
But that's really what's been happening with the bureaucracy of the New South Wales government after over a decade of Liberal rule. It's been hollowed out to the point where its primary objectives are marketing, cost-cutting, and providing nice, highly paid jobs to political allies of the party. I wonder if there's been any high-profile examples of the latter recently. It's just crazy. This government doesn't seem to consider the bare basics of government a priority, like keeping fire stations open, having trains that won't run over children, and deodorant for certain ministers. I don't know about the last one, but just look at them. A lot of them look really smelly.
You try living on a diet of nothing but raw chicken and pig blood.
In the 10 years of the Libs being in office, the population of New South Wales has increased by over 1 million people. New suburbs in Western Sydney have sprung up like mushrooms after rain, so obviously the government has built some new fire and rescue services to accommodate that new need. Right? No, not one. Have you seen how much Sydney has changed in the past decade? It's like every street now has an apartment block just chucked into it, but we couldn't build just one fire and rescue station. When the Liberals got in office in New South Wales, Born This Way by Lady Gaga was topping the charts. We were still months away from Party Rock Anthem hitting number 1. We now live in a post-party rock society, and the Liberals haven't adapted in the slightest by building just one fire and rescue station. God knows we need it. Have you seen the chaos party rocking causes?
Not as much chaos as I can cause if I've had a few too many whiskies before question time. Santa Ryder's in the house tonight. Gonna use parliamentary privilege to say baseless defamatory shit.
Every day I'm cabinet shuffling. But much like Resilience New South Wales, what the Liberals have done is promise the world. Oran Park was promised a fire station back in 2015. Then, because all the Libs really care about are announcements and they're responsible economic managers, they got banged for their buck and announced it again in 2017.
The construction will commence imminently and we expect it to be finished within the next 2 years.
Well, they were announced in 2015, then in 2018. Now we've put pressure on the government. They're saying it's another 2 years. I mean, that's not good enough.
Yet for years nothing happened as wait times for emergency responders blew out past what should be acceptable, seriously endangering both the lives of fireys and those in Oran Park.
Fire crews from Camden and Narellan say they're stretched to capacity responding to incidents in neighbouring Oran Park, which was promised its own fire station 6 years ago.
How perfect is this sign at encapsulating the tenure of the Liberals? This picture was taken in 2020, mind you. Estimated commencement 2015. Estimated completion 2018. New South Wales, making it happen. Construction only started this year, 7 years behind what was first flagged.
Estimate. Spell it with me. E-T-S-M-I-T-A-T-E. Estimate. It was a rough estimate, so fuck off. Anyway, we're not even going to start from when it's built, so it's a rush.
It's just so tiring at this point. If you join my Patreon amongst finding that it's great value for money, improves your complexion, and generally uplifts your mood, you'll also find that we do monthly video suggestion polls, or at least we try to make them monthly. But really, I don't need you. I should just print out this representation of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, pin it to a dartboard, blindfold myself, and just throw a dart at it. Then just do a video on how the Liberals are ruining whatever the dart landed on. Let's do it right now. Boom! Love and belonging.
Well, look at me. I haven't left this room in 10 years. You thought I'd calm down when the feds won, but I won't stop until it's all red. Just like David Elliot won't, because he wants to set Australia on fire.
Look, this has all been repeatedly pointed out by the Fire Brigade Employees Union to David Elliot for years, to which I imagine he responded with,
Off! You're intimidating me! Leave now or I'll call the cops!
Yeah, that's right. You make sure you never come back here again, you
Don't! I know it's you! Remember, the hills have eyes!
Oi, can we chuck someone's phone with voice memos on to see what they're saying about me?
So you need to tell your friends and family that the state government hasn't built one new fire station in the decade it's been in power, and thanks to them, some of the places in this state are woefully unprepared for not just a natural disaster, but a house fire. Like and subscribe.
Let's go! Party Rock is in the house tonight!
Everybody just have a good time.
Please share and comment below. Comment.